lot of complex operational tasks that happen behind the scenes, right? All the wheels in the system have to move together to ensure that we are delivering, products at a certain speed, giving convenience to the user, making sure availability is there at a certain price point. See, success is simple as long as you're delivering the business impacts. For any growth marketer, year-on-year growth is something that we strive towards. So be it, it can be through various mediums, right? By acquiring new users or by retaining existing users, increasing their wallet share. But ultimately, it's that growth, it's the movement upwards that we are all chasing. Quick commerce is very, very complex. There is a lot of complex operational tasks that happen behind the scenes, right? All the wheels in the system have to move together to ensure that we are delivering, products at a certain speed, giving convenience to the user, making sure availability is there at a certain price point, right? And the wheels that I'm talking about is mostly your operational efficiency, planning how much of inventory to maintain in a way that you don't waste a lot of inventory. At the same time, you ensure that when the consumer comes on the app, you're getting something for the user to take away. Logistic enablement, right? Setting up micro fulfillment centers. Where do you set them up to ensure that you're serving to a lot of customers? Optimizing your delivery speed. Technology, which is the backbone for quick commerce. This helps in various ways in inventory management, avoiding stock outs, ensuring that you've got enough stock, delivery management, ensuring that you know where your delivery person is, and even for the customer, they know where their product is. And finally, creating user-friendly app that doesn't confuse the user. It just enables them to get what they want. And finally, in this whole system is the customer at the center of it, right? Understanding who is your customer, segmenting that customer so that you are able to talk to that customer effectively and not confuse the customer with a lot of different irrelevant communication. So these are certain parts that have to move together to make quick commerce a success. Customers churn for a variety of reasons, right? And I'm just going to highlight a few at the moment. The topmost reason usually why customers churn is your expectation and reality mismatch. Customers buy a product or utilize a service having certain expectation in mind, and when there is a mismatch between what they actually get, that is when they look for competitor or an alternative, right? It is absolutely essential for brands to know what the customer is expecting and how they can deliver that value to the customer. The second thing obviously is price sensitivity. A lot of times customers feel that they are not getting the value for the price that they are paying, right? There is a big gap between both of it, and that is when customer might try the product once or twice, but they'll eventually end up moving to a cheaper competitor or looking for a different alternative. The third reason would be continuous disappointment in terms of customer service. So be it in case of your product, be it in case of the service that you are getting, or maybe an app experience, right? Customers might forgive for once or twice, but if there is consistent disappointment, customers eventually move away from that particular brand. And lastly, the fourth one, which effectively marketers can control have very limited control over, is changing consumer expectation, right? The needs of the consumer ends up changing, the reality of the consumer ends up changing. For Licious, for example, right? If a consumer moves to a city where Licious is not delivering, we have no control over that, and the consumer eventually ends up churning for us, right? So these are some of the reasons why consumers churn for a particular company. Now coming down to how companies can combat or make consumers stick to their products is, one, getting the price value equation right. Very, very important. I'm not saying discount the product, a lot, but give an optimum pricing for the value that is being delivered, so that the customer doesn't feel cheated at the end, right? Second would be around incentivizing loyalty. If you have a loyal set of users who are coming back to the brand time and again, incentivize them, make them feel valued, make them part of your growth journey, and that is how you'd sort of retain these consumers. Third would be personalization, right? Personalizing, understanding the consumer context and personalizing your communication accordingly to what the consumer wants from the brand. It is absolutely essential for a brand to understand why the consumer is choosing you over any other competition, and then continuously communicate that benefit to the user. And the last thing would be understanding the ever-changing consumer needs. Understand what your consumer expectation is, what do they need from the product, communicate the same, and if there is any change in this, right? So continuously monitor through either NPS or through CSAT, or there are other mechanisms to understand the feedback that your consumer is giving and coming and telling you the needs that they have from the product, right? So understanding these needs and modifying your proposition or the products to what suits the consumer needs. I'm truly excited about GenAI. I want to see how that is picking up. There are various tools that are already available like DALL-E, Midjourney, which are creating buzz. The latest Cadbury ad with Shah Rukh Khan, which was made on DALL-E, is created massive buzz, right? So these are certain things that have already been picked up by some of the companies, but there is a long way to go, right? GenAI also, people have already started turning to GenAI for idea generation. There is a lot more that can be done. We can automate content, we can customize content based on our consumer cohort and you know, maybe their language, their cities, their different needs. So I'm truly excited about how GenAI sort of helps marketing take the leap forward. I think on this, time will tell. There has been attempts in the past to make super apps, but that were not very successful. See, there are various challenges when it comes to building super apps. Usually, brands start with one use case, they position themselves in the mind of the user with that use case. Now, suddenly changing and expanding that becomes difficult. And this is just the positioning challenge that I'm talking about.